In the 3rd year of our marriage, the paparazzi caught Raymond cheating. The other woman was young and beautiful, and she had once been an obsessive fan who had terrified him to the point of a mental breakdown. Raymond laughed and said, "Isn't it thrilling? I need such crazy and bold muses to inspire my creativity. I never asked you to be faithful. If you need, I can introduce you to some quality resources in the industry." Since that was the case, I filed for divorce, wishing him well. But after the divorce, he wrote emotional posts on every social media platform, begging me to come back. When he released his new album, he called out to me, "Gladys, if you don't want me, I'll die." My new husband couldn't stand it anymore and responded on Weibo, "If you want to die, hurry up and do it, but stop bothering my wife during her postpartum recovery." When I received evidence of Raymond's cheating, I suddenly felt a sense of relief. The paparazzi urged me to transfer money to buy out the news. I cursed, "Get lost." Then I messaged Raymond, asking him to come home. He ignored me. On the way to his studio, I got a call from his manager. "Miss Sue, can you stop pestering Ray? You've been making excuses to bother him repeatedly, seriously affecting his progress on his new album." The woman's cold voice couldn't hide her disdain. It was as if she was saying, "If you have nothing better to do than cling to him, just go find a job." After complaining, she hung up, assuming I would feel ashamed and stay quiet for a few days. After all, I used to be quite susceptible to their tactics. When I showed up at the studio unannounced, Raymond was frolicking in the bathtub with the other woman. I had overseen the studio's renovation, knowing every detail from the placement of the furniture to the layout of the rooms. Due to his work requirements, the entire studio used top-notch soundproofing materials. As soon as I walked in, the intimate sounds of the two of them assaulted my ears like a curse. It was obvious how hard they were going at it. When I opened the bathroom door, they were barely covered, relying on the bubbles to hide themselves. "Ah!" The woman screamed and hid in Raymond's arms. In her excitement, the bubbles slipped away, revealing the marks of his affection on her back. "Get out!" Raymond was much calmer than she was. The affectionate peach blossom eyes flicked up, and in the instant they met mine, the violence turned to confusion. "What are you doing here?" I gripped the door frame tightly. "I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll be waiting on the couch outside." Raymond cleaned up and sat across from me, wrapped in a towel. He preemptively said, "Baby, your presence here really disappoints me. Go home immediately, and I can pretend none of this happened." His tone of grievance and complaint made me somewhat dazed. I even doubted myself for a second. Perhaps the one caught red-handed cheating outside was actually me? After coming to my senses, I gritted my teeth. "Raymond, is the material for your bulletproof vest taken from the thickness of your face? Sis, if you want to hit or scold, come at me. It's all my fault for taking advantage of the situation and seducing Brother Fu." Cecilia Ruan ran over and stood in front of Raymond. She wore a silk shirt that barely covered her thighs, leaving nothing of her figure or the marks of her struggles with desire hidden. "After you hit and scold me, you can't bully Brother Fu anymore, okay? He's been working day and night on his new album and is exhausted. I just wanted to help him relax a little. It seems I came at a bad time, interrupting your method of relaxation and pipeline clearing." After mocking them, I wanted to take out the divorce papers, but then I heard Raymond's nonchalant voice. "I need her for my new album, and I've never asked you to remain chaste for me. If you're feeling needy, I can introduce you to some top-tier resources in the circle. Let's compromise. Don't make a fuss. I'll come home tonight to be with you, okay?" His practiced tone, like a seasoned gigolo, once again triggered my blood pressure. Suppressing my anger, I growled, "You must be insane. Have you forgotten how she made you hide abroad, cowering like a lapdog a few years ago?" Cecilia's face turned pale instantly. "That was when I was young and ignorant. I've changed. Brother Ray has forgiven me, so why can't you let it go?" After shouting at me, she quickly turned to look at Raymond's expression. Nervously grabbing his hand, the man wrapped his large hand around her, pulling her into his embrace. A deep smile appeared on his face, which had driven countless people crazy. "Isn't it exciting? She's my muse now. I can't live without her. I kept my interactions with her a secret from you because I knew you couldn't handle it. But you've disappointed my good intentions." With Raymond backing her up, Cecilia also raised a triumphant smile. She looked at me with a provocative and smug gaze. I smiled and stared at Raymond's calm face. Saying I wasn't disappointed would be a lie. He could forget. But I couldn't. 7 years ago, Raymond entered the public eye with a simple singing video. His unique voice and outstanding appearance gave him a smooth path in the music industry after gaining popularity. He signed with major companies, released albums, and held personal concerts, while gaining countless loyal fans. A group of extreme and fanatical followers also emerged. Cecilia was the leader among them. She led efforts to find out Raymond's private schedule, followed his car, intercepted his mail and deliveries. She even climbed up several floors to sneak into his hotel room and install cameras. She hid under his bed, waiting to hug him when he fell asleep. She mixed her saliva and blood into his food and drink. After Raymond found out, he didn't dare to sleep with his eyes closed for a long time. He developed severe psychological trauma and was forced to stop all work. I accompanied him abroad for secret treatment. I paid the compensation for breaching contracts, as well as all living and medical expenses out of my own pocket. It took him half a year to come out of the abyss. Now he willingly jumps back in, seeking so-called excitement. Raymond, let's get a divorce. From now on, you won't have to live this humiliating life anymore. You are not calm right now, and I won't take such angry words seriously. Go home and wait for me. Raymond scolded coldly, hugging Cecilia as he slammed the door and left. I stared at the door for a long time, so long that my phone kept ringing before I looked down. Big teardrops fell on the back of my hand, burning me as I wiped them away on my clothes with force. I stopped this self-destructive behavior only when I rubbed my skin raw. Raymond and Cecilia were photographed by paparazzi as soon as they stepped out. The studio's mailbox, which I managed, was flooded with blackmail messages. I ignored them all. The paparazzi then sent the photos to Raymond's rivals. There were so many who disliked him. Both people and ghosts alike wanted to take a shot at him. The news of his cheating went straight to the top of the trending list. My inbox was flooded with private messages from Raymond's fans. Amid countless insults and curses, I picked a few familiar loyal fans to reply to. Fan message: what is the studio doing? How can you not clarify all this filth being thrown at my brother? Stupid studio. A bunch of useless trash. My reply: how can you clarify when it's true? Fan message: everyone knows my brother is a pure love warrior. He wasn't even angry when Gladys forced him to marry. Now these accounts are spreading rumors about him playing around. Where is your studio? My reply: it's true. No need for rumors. Fan message: a bunch of dirty words. My reply: your curses bounce back to you. When Raymond's career was just starting, his fans didn't harbor such malice towards me. Until, at his birthday party, a fan asked when we would get married. He paused for a moment, then gave a bitter smile and said soon. The complex expression and subtle answer left them with endless room for imagination. Many rumors emerged, saying I was forcing him to marry me out of gratitude, preventing Raymond from interacting with other women, and causing him to miss many opportunities. Young fans with limited ability to distinguish right from wrong believed these rumors. All the fans felt sorry for Raymond and were more willing to spend money on him, vote for him, and support him more strongly. Rumors spread, and truth or falsity no longer seemed to matter. Raymond once considered clarifying, but his manager said, a little fan abuse can strengthen fan loyalty. Isn't Miss Sue deeply devoted to you? Enduring some online curses won't hurt. He hesitated, struggled, and finally shook his head at me with difficulty, acquiescing to the studio's deliberate marketing. In the end, he successfully deceived himself, unable to distinguish reality from lies. I was heartbroken for a long time, but after his nationwide tour, he proposed to me, a grand proposal ceremony, a dazzling pigeon egg diamond ring, and him, like a prince. Everything felt like a dream. I once thought his efforts were out of love. Later I realized, it was just to silence others. But at that time, I was so excited I couldn't sleep. I boasted to my unsupportive elders at home, telling skeptical friends that I had found true love. But late at night, I heard him complaining in a voice message to someone, do I dare not marry her? She's the little princess of a powerful family in Beijing. Her family would tear me apart. My image as a devoted husband would collapse. And how many fans would I lose? At worst, we can each play our own game after marriage. Her parents do the same, don't they? I believe she can understand. His lowered voice was cold and mocking. He wasn't even facing away from me while talking. His breath, while speaking, sprayed on my neck. The whole bed was warm. yet I was shivering with cold. Baby, what's wrong? Raymond hugged me nervously, soothing me in his charming voice. Before doing all this, he didn't forget to turn off his phone screen. I had a high fever that lasted several days. Coming and going, Raymond canceled all his work to take care of me. He was so attentive that the nurses and caregivers teased me about finding a good partner. I looked at Raymond, exhausted and lightly sleeping beside my hospital bed, and said nothing. His sincerity wasn't fake, but sincerity changes in an instant. No matter how strong Raymond Studios' PR capabilities were, they couldn't withstand the power of half the entertainment industry jumping into muddy waters. His manager first showed weakness, asking me to come forward and clarify, saying they were just friends. If I posted a group photo, this matter would be resolved. Raymond is a singer. He rarely participates in reality shows that expose his true nature, nor does he act in dramas. The public naturally has a kind of broad tolerance for well-packaged singers. I sneered. What kind of friends wrap themselves in towels, wear sheer shirts, and hug each other in the car? If it weren't for discovering the paparazzi, would they have put on a car sex show? But if you want me to clarify, there's a way. Notify Raymond that we'll get our divorce certificate at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9 tomorrow morning. I don't know how she conveyed the message. The next day, I really saw Raymond at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, someone I hadn't seen for a long time, along with a huge filming team behind him. Raymond wore sunglasses, but they couldn't hide his haggardness. He spoke in a very disdainful tone. Are you sure you won't give in? This is the live divorce team arranged by Sister Lou. Once it starts, the whole internet will know we've split. If you want to regret it, it'll be too late. The filming team cooperatively aimed their cameras at me. It was as if he could make me lose everything with just a word. Raymond, Gladys, stop being pretentious. I'm giving you one last chance. Apologize to me, and I can let bygones be bygones. The divorce cooling-off period is 1 month. Raymond and I have no children, so the property division was easy. The problem is Raymond's non-cooperation. Miss Sue, it's almost 11. Maybe I should come back when Mr. Wu is available. Sorry. My fault for not scheduling properly. I sent the lawyer away, and when I returned to the house, a tall figure came running from behind, grabbing my wrist and pulling me back. A strong smell of alcohol hit me. I reflexively slapped him. Raymond's head was knocked to the side, and he staggered, his tear-filled eyes red and terrifying. I only made the same mistake every man in the world makes. Why can't you let it go? Cece was right. You're just too petty. Can't we not get a divorce? Do you know how much this mess will damage my career? Gladys, give me one more chance. I promise. He got more agitated as he spoke, reaching out to grab me. Raymond, let it go. We're not suitable for each other. Together for 10 years. And you say we're not suitable? Raymond raised his voice. Then who are you suitable with? I won't interfere with you being together. I'll even help you hide the affair. Isn't that enough? He seemed really desperate, tears falling like broken pearls. His handsome and fragile appearance was highly deceptive, his charming voice hoarse and inexplicably pitiful, as if afraid no one would feel sorry for him. I want steady loyalty. While you seek temporary excitement, you came to me not out of regret or sadness, but because you're worried about your career. Raymond, do you think songs created out of your marital infidelity deserve others' love? The man froze in place, his hands suspended in midair, emotions swirling in his bloodshot eyes. He was angry. After sharing a bed for years, no matter how calm he pretended to be, I could see through him at a glance. Cooperate in finalizing the divorce, and I won't interfere with your career. I don't know which sensitive nerve I touched. Raymond suddenly yelled. You've been waiting for this day for a long time, haven't you? You never wanted to be with me, Gladys. I won't agree to the divorce. Don't think you can destroy me and enjoy your life alone. The bodyguards who rushed over drove the frantic Raymond away. I frowned and returned to the house, seeing my father sitting on the living room sofa. At over 50 years old, he was well-maintained, lean, and elegant, making people forget how decisive and ruthless he was in the business world. If you need help, just say so. Don't get hurt over unnecessary people. The bodyguards just now were called by him. I remained silent. He sighed and turned to go upstairs. Dad. Thank you, I said with difficulty. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you back then. Admitting my failure was a very humiliating thing for me. but Raymond's actions forced me to expose my wounds and complain to others. When I first publicly got together with Raymond, my entire family opposed it. At that time, he had just signed with a company and immediately encountered a plagiarism scandal, causing a huge uproar and owing a hefty compensation for breach of contract. I used my family's connections to help him get justice, but this also brought him into my father's view. My father asked me to bring Raymond to have a meal together. The location was a star-rated hotel, and Raymond's face didn't look good even before entering the door. As soon as the private room door opened, my father looked him over for 2 seconds, without a hint of gentlemanly manners, and opened his cigarette case. Raymond hurried forward to light it for him, but my father avoided it. "Dad!" I pulled Raymond behind me, protectively saying, "He's my man." My father puffed out smoke. "It's fine to play around, but marriage is out of the question. They say the young are impetuous." I directly flipped the table, grabbed Raymond, and walked out, leaving bold words that no one could tear us apart. Raymond shook off my hand halfway. "Gladys, don't fall out with your family for me. It's not worth it." He hung his head, the hand with the bandage resting on his stomach, sounding as dejected as a stray dog. I said, "Raymond, have some confidence. You're worth all the good. I won't give up on you, no matter how hard this road is. I'll stick with you." But the premise was that he had to be as determined as I was. As the heat continued to rise, Cecilia's information was dug up. She couldn't wait to make a high-profile move. On the day Raymond and I went to the Civil Affairs Bureau, she forwarded a luxury car and house giveaway on Weibo. She was active under various marketing accounts, eager to let everyone know she had succeeded as the other woman. Fans who firmly believed in Raymond's innocence either fell silent or rushed to her private messages to insult her. Cecilia took the opportunity to send legal notices to several of Raymond's old fans. She grasped the unprecedented heat perfectly. She even took the time to post vacation photos on her social media, with suggestive captions, leading people to find traces of Raymond in them. Just one glance and I knew the photos were from last year. Last year, Raymond was filming an on-location MV abroad, and the background in the video calls with me was identical to her pictures. When he was whining about how tired he was and saying it was fortunate I didn't come to suffer, was he just getting out of Cecilia's bed? Were the souvenirs he brought back chosen together with Cecilia? When did they start hooking up? Was it when he told me he had hit a creative bottleneck and needed to retreat? Or when he said we should take a break while he traveled around the world? I dared not think further. My stomach spasmed, and I retched over the toilet. "Are you pregnant?" My father stood at the bathroom door, his tone serious. "No, just purely nauseated." He sighed in relief. "Even if you were, it's fine. I can still afford to feed one more mouth." I laughed through my tears, wanting to shake my head but inexplicably collapsing on the floor and crying. Raymond and I would never have children. He said he wanted to be child-free, not letting anyone interfere with our relationship. For double assurance, he suggested we both undergo surgery. As soon as he said it, he shook his head with a smile. "This surgery is too harmful for women. I'll do it alone." But when I came out of the surgery room, he didn't show up. When he saw the surgery form, a look of bewildered surprise flashed in his eyes. Maybe he didn't expect me to be such a stubborn and serious person. "Sorry, baby. I've been really busy lately. I'll definitely go through with it after this period. You've worked hard." Under pressure from various sources, I finally managed to get the divorce certificate a month later. Raymond, red-eyed and stubborn, said, "Gladys, you will regret this. You'll never find another man willing to give his life for you like I did." I sneered. "None of your business." After blocking all of Raymond's contact details, he switched to several different numbers to harass me. Eventually, things quieted down a lot. I heard Cecilia was pregnant. He didn't care about the immense pressure on his studio. He directly announced his relationship with Cecilia on his personal account, along with a glaringly obvious pregnancy test. The comments were filled with countless aggressive remarks. Raymond seemed to have completely lost it, personally responding to and arguing with fans who insulted Cecilia. His blatant partiality completely ignited the fans' anger, and they began to boycott him collectively. Meanwhile, I set out to fulfill the dreams I had previously neglected, traveling across the country with my camera. I took abundant photos of landscapes and portraits, and even reopened an account I hadn't touched in a long time to share my photography work. The account didn't have much traffic initially, and it took a long time for posts to start getting noticed. Old fans recognized me, Grandma, the blogger you followed has started updating again. I never thought I'd see new updates from Gladys in this lifetime. I remember Gladys was Raymond's diehard fan, right? She got famous photographing Raymond. So what do you think now that your idol has fallen? Upstairs. Your memory is mixed up. Gladys was photographing first, and then people got to know Raymond. Doesn't everyone know Raymond rose to fame by feeding off our Gladys? I scrolled through the comments, feeling surprisingly calm. The first time I met Raymond was at a cultural performance. A clean-cut boy in a white shirt and black trousers playing guitar and singing love songs. The spotlight solely on him, creating an unbeatable atmosphere. He looked good, but I had photographed many handsome men and beautiful women in school, so I didn't feel particularly drawn to him. Until one night, when I was being followed, he rushed out to confront the assailant. By the time I called the police, he was lying on the ground, stabbed multiple times and barely breathing. The doctor said his hand would never do delicate work again. He gave up the guitar and chose to compose and sing his own songs. The band he joined performed at an underground bar. When I went, the place was buzzing, the rock music making everyone's blood boil, with countless young men and women shouting the band's name excitedly. In the end, though, they sang a gentle, melodious love song. 6 months later, I returned to Beijing, but it wasn't the family driver who picked me up. It was a young, handsome man, tall, long-legged, broad-shouldered, and narrow-waisted, with a steady, gentle gaze and a gentlemanly manner of speaking. It was obvious he was sent by my father for a matchmaking session. If it had been before, I might have chatted with him a bit. After experiencing Raymond, I had a defensive and aggressive stance towards men, but on this trip, we didn't talk much, and it wasn't awkward. What do you think of him? As soon as my father came home that night, he eagerly asked about the situation. I frowned and waved my hand. I'm not taking on students. He glared at me angrily. If you can't see someone like him, why were you so obsessed with that kind of person before? I didn't know how to respond, so I chose to go back to my room to catch up on sleep. Half asleep, the phone ringing woke me up. When I answered, it was Raymond's voice. Baby, you're back, right? I've reflected a lot over the past 6 months and really know I was wrong. I don't need that kind of instant, useless excitement. I really can't live without you. His voice was hoarse, and I could hear suppressed sobbing. The whole atmosphere damp and sticky, like unpleasant weather. It made me feel repulsed. I slowly sat up. 6 months ago, hearing his voice would have made me nauseous. So much so that I couldn't stay in Beijing. Now I could ask very coldly and indifferently, Mr. Wu, did you think I was planning to start a photography studio and wanted me to film your second divorce? The line went silent for a moment. Baby, I'm downstairs at your place. As his voice fell, my window was illuminated by a strong light, and through the thick curtains, I could only see a white glow. I instinctively hung up the phone and added his number to the blacklist. Why did he think anyone would wait for him forever? Raymond was back on the trending searches again. This time, he had been rushed to the hospital by a good Samaritan after attempting to slit his wrists. Cecilia, interviewed by reporters in the hospital room, cried hysterically. I really wish some people would mind their own business and stop disturbing our family. That one sentence was extremely damaging. Numerous marketing accounts sprang up like mushrooms after rain, once again tying me and Raymond together. They detailed how I restricted Raymond's freedom when he debuted and forced him into marriage. They fabricated stories about my chaotic private life before being with Raymond, causing infertility, and claimed that Raymond had scheduled a vasectomy at a private hospital for me. Even Cecilia's miscarriage was blamed on me, alleging that I visited a meow village to cast a spell on her. It was so absurd that I couldn't help but laugh. Since they liked dragging me into their drama, I wouldn't disappoint them. I registered a Weibo account and pinned the news about my photography studio's opening. Most of Raymond's die-hard fans had left. Those remaining had limited fighting power. I deleted a few comments trying to stir up trouble, and the frustrated trolls flooded my private messages with insults. I set my account to only allow comments from followers of over 7 days, leading to a surge in reposts. Soon, the studio received a large order. I took the team there, only to find it was someone I knew. The elite man introduced by my father, Brandon Tong, wanted to take promotional photos for his company. The work was easy and simple, and afterward, he treated the entire team to a meal, with the drinks flowing. Some people started to relax. and the atmosphere in the private room became lively. Midway through the meal, the door to the private room opened. A familiar, brisk female voice rang out. "I didn't expect it to be President Tong. It's an honor to meet you all." The feigned enthusiastic greeting suddenly stopped, and as the atmosphere became tense, I looked up to see two familiar faces, Raymond and his manager. Raymond, already pale, turned even whiter upon seeing me, his eyes instantly reddening as he quickly walked out, gripping a wine glass. His manager wanted to chase after him but hesitated. Turning around, she faced Brandon's amused yet disdainful expression and apologized submissively. She signaled several times with her eyes for me to speak up, but I ignored her. My intentions about endorsements should have been conveyed by my team. Our company will not employ artists with a tarnished reputation. Please respect our decision. Brandon's words left the manager with no choice but to back down, despite her thick skin. As the meal was ending, I excused myself to the restroom, taking a detour to the front desk to settle the bill. There, I saw Raymond and Cecilia arguing not far away, standing too close. I turned slightly to avoid direct confrontation as I made my way to the front desk, but their conversations seemed to grow wings, drilling into my ears. "Are you stupid? You said you were coming out to discuss business, but it was just to meet that whore? When my family is in trouble, you just want to leave and eat your words? Dream on. Even if I die, I'm taking you with me." Cecilia's voice was hysterical, as if she had suffered a great grievance. Raymond sounded exhausted. "I'm already very tired with work every day. Why can't you be more understanding like Gladys? She never made things difficult for me." "Shut up. What is she compared to me?" The two started fighting in the lobby, and even several bodyguards couldn't stop them. I kept my back to the lobby, intending to leave when I saw Brandon approaching. A look of surprise crossed his eyes. I said I would treat. "So why are you?" "Gladys, did you come out specifically to see me?" Brandon's words were interrupted by a voice filled with extreme joy. I ignored it, calmly walking towards Brandon and taking his arm. "We have plenty of time. How about you treat me to a meal next time?" Raymond shouted heart-wrenchingly, but I turned a deaf ear and walked with Brandon down the corridor. I didn't need to say anything. Cecilia and the lobby bodyguards would hold him back. Once I no longer felt his piercing gaze on my back, I immediately let go of Brandon's arm. "Sorry. There was a troublesome mad dog just now. I had to use you. Consider today's meal my apology. As for the next time I mentioned, he should understand that it was just a polite remark." "Miss Sue, don't you want to get rid of the mad dog for good?" "I have a permanent solution. Brandon and I have decided to get married. Our parents met and were very pleased with each other. The atmosphere in the Tong family was very good, and from the way Brandon carried himself, it was clear that he grew up in a loving environment. He was gentle, courteous, and confident, unlike my family, where my parents had me just to fulfill a duty, each of them having affairs outside without bothering each other, and unlike Raymond's family, with a gambling father and a weak mother. Back then, I went against everyone's wishes, stole the household registration book, and got married to Raymond without a formal meeting between our parents. The first time Raymond took me to his house for dinner, the small, dim room didn't even have decent chairs. A few people sat around a coffee table, eating from disposable takeaway boxes with 3 vegetable dishes and 1 soup. They looked at me with greedy eyes, asking how much dowry I was bringing. Brandon wanted to have a wedding and came to the studio with a wedding planning team to discuss it with me. When I finished my work and saw the text message, it was 2 hours later. My assistant hurried over, panicking. "Sister Sue, it's bad. That lunatic came again. He's at the door arguing with your fiancé." Through the surveillance, I saw Brandon confronting Raymond. "She's with you just to spite me for abandoning her." "President Tong, you're so busy, yet you still have time to play these childish games with her? Or do you actually like her?" He seemed to have boundless confidence, acting arrogant even in front of my soon-to-be husband. Brandon remained expressionless. "Mr. Wu, your words aren't funny at all. Gladys and I are already married, and we will be holding a wedding soon. You should let it go." "Bullshit. Don't think that saying these lies will make me give up. She can only be mine." Raymond, agitated, grabbed Brandon's collar. The tension was thick, as if they would start fighting any second. I couldn't sit still anymore. I couldn't let Brandon get hurt because of this nonsense. "Baby, I knew you. Are you okay?" I forcefully pushed Raymond away. slapped him hard, and shielded Brandon, asking with concern. After all, I had a duty to ensure my partner's safety. Raymond screamed in despair. Baby, I really know I was wrong. Just look at me one more time, okay? I didn't marry Cecilia. The child she's carrying isn't even mine. After you left, I really got a vasectomy, but I looked for you for so long and couldn't find you. Your family's company secretly sabotaged my career, and I was blacklisted for a long time. The Ruan family helped me and were almost bankrupted because of it. Everyone and everything you hate has received their retribution. Why can't you forgive me? Baby, weren't you always the kindest person? Despite looking haggard, Raymond's face was still attractive. Otherwise, he wouldn't still have a significant number of fans. At this moment, he was using his looks to play the pity card with me, but seeing him like this only made me feel ashamed of the 10 years I spent on him. Kindness is for people, not for dogs. Raymond, you never thought you did anything wrong. Instead, you think I'm not generous enough, and you blame me for ruining your career and reputation. You keep coming back not to reconcile but because you need someone to silently support you, provide you with resources, and help you succeed. Get lost. I don't want to see you again. If I see you, I'll hit you. Raymond's chest heaved violently, his face turning red with rage. He gritted his teeth. Gladys, you finally revealed your true thoughts. You never respected me. In your eyes, I've always been a freeloader, and now that you're moving up, you kick me aside. I'll show you with my actions just how much I love you. I clenched my fists, wishing I could punch him to death. Just wait. The studio put up a sign that dogs and Raymond were not allowed entry. Unbeknownst to me, Brandon also took action against Raymond. The next news I received about Raymond was again trending on social media. He posted a lengthy message revealing Cecilia's past harassment of various idols and artists when she was a Sacing fan, the Ruan family's tax evasion, and at the end, he expressed his desire for me to return to him. Baby, I'll get rid of my bad habits during creation. As long as you're by my side to supervise, I can regain my former glory. Brandon casually posted a vlog of our wedding on the official account. In it, we exchanged rings and kissed in front of countless friends and family. After that, he became a decisive figure in the business world, and I expanded the photography studio, receiving numerous collaboration invitations and gradually building a reputation in the industry. When people mentioned me, they no longer referred to me as the disgraced wife but as a recognized and respected professional. It wasn't until I fainted that I realized I was pregnant. Luckily, this shoot wasn't tightly scheduled. After learning the news, I slept peacefully and planned to inform my family upon returning home. I didn't expect to wake up and see Brandon. His usually neat hair was slightly disheveled, and his gentle, handsome face looked non-threatening as he leaned against a chair, staring blankly at the floor bag. His body was here, but his soul wasn't. Seeing him like this, I couldn't help but smile. He woke up instantly. You're awake. Are you feeling any discomfort? I'll go get the doctor. I kept my eyes on him, not missing the flash of panic on his face. I quickly used my free hand to press him down. Brandon, afraid of hitting the floor tube, remained stiff and looked at me uneasily. His lips moved, but he hesitated to speak. Why are you here? When you fainted, your assistant messaged me. Why are you trembling? Did the doctor tell you I have a terminal illness? No, but... He pursed his lips, his eyes welling up. Can we keep this child? I'll balance work and family, be there for them, provide the best conditions, and give them all the love. I was puzzled. When did I say I didn't want the child? Seeing him like this was rare. I secretly turned on my phone's recording function. After crying, Brandon was very aggrieved, saying he knew about my past vasectomy, thinking I didn't like children, so he was very careful. Upon hearing the pregnancy news from the doctor, he was both happy and worried. I didn't tell him about the fainting incident or the pregnancy after waking up. He thought I planned to secretly abort the child. This seemingly smart fool. Upon hearing the good news, my mother-in-law quickly booked a postpartum care center and a maternity nurse. For the first 3 months, I stayed home to rest as the pregnancy was unstable. Suddenly, my assistant called. Sister, check the trending searches. That mad dog foo is using you for clout again. Her voice was filled with excitement. The homepage was filled with news of Raymond's return with a new album. An official account's interview video was widely shared, commented on, and liked. At the end of the video, Raymond pleaded. I've really changed. If you don't want me, I'll die. At the time, he was under pressure from many sides, and his studio couldn't secure resources. After struggling for over half a year, they finally decided to dissolve. In the end, it was rumored that he went abroad to restart his career. I didn't expect him to come back to try to grab a share of the pie. Without me having to do anything, the exclusionary entertainment industry started quietly arranging negative trending topics for him, so that the new fans enamored by his looks would know what a hypocritical scumbag he was. I glanced at it, intending to exit, but then saw an update from a followed account. Brandon had shared Raymond's interview with the caption, "If you want to die, go ahead and do it. Stop bothering my wife during her postpartum recovery." Side story, Raymond. Retracing my steps to debut, I realized how much Gladys had helped me back then. Rejection and suppression flooded me like a tide. There were so many talented and good singers. I was just another grain of rice, bland and unnoticed. I spent all my savings just to produce a decent album. I even borrowed a large sum from my former manager to cover the costs of promoting it back home. She now works in a bar, earning quite a lot each day. She suggested I join her, saying with my looks, I'd be popular among wealthy women in the clubs. I refused and scolded her harshly. My intention was to spark her determination, but she threatened to sue me for extortion. She couldn't see my potential. She didn't know I would rise to the top again, and I would use sacks of money to hit her face. But the path back home seemed harder. I had offended too many people. Too many invisible forces muddied the waters. No matter how I promoted, my album wouldn't sell. Meanwhile, Brandon's company grew more successful, and Gladys even gave birth to twins. Those despicable people. To take revenge, I got involved with a female executive from Brandon's company. I tricked her into stealing company secrets, planning to flee with the money, but ran into a crazed Cecilia on the way. She chopped off my hands and feet. Blood sprayed on both of us, and the excruciating pain made me pass out. In my final moments of consciousness, I suddenly remembered the first time I interacted with Gladys. I had spread rumors in school that she was desperately chasing me. Her crazed pursuer sent people to harm her. I happened to witness the attackers. Initially, I wanted to run, but seeing her dressed in designer clothes, I chose to rush in and save her. At the time, I thought, luckily, it was my right hand that got injured since I was left-handed.